All right, so May 7th has come and gone, and hallelujah, I can fly again. I feel like Peter Pan. I can fly, I can fly, I can fly.
I mean, I don't necessarily love flying unless I have to,
Yeah.
but my goodness.
I like to go to Little St. James in the Caribbean, that island
Oh
specifically.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah,
guys
so I
get
have to
away a
fly
lot.
down there
Yeah,
because
you
I
guys
can't
get away a
drive.
lot.
Yeah, too far.
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
drive to the Bahamas in my bitchin' Camaro, but I
And,
can't.
and I don't have a boat that's gonna make it that far
No,
either.
no, I don't. So we're going to get into something that everybody has been freaking out about for the last couple months, getting your real ID, because the one you had right now is a fake piece of crap.
Guess it doesn't work. Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah.
work. It just doesn't prove who you are. I don't know how you can buy alcohol with it. I don't know how you were able to give it to a cop when he pulls you over for speeding, which I know you do,
Every time.
because we
Got
do. We all do.
got it.
And now you can be official, and you have to do it if you want to be able to fly like an eagle to the sea. Anyway, right? So we're
Let's
going to
get
get
into
into
it.
that and talk about a little bit of that
Let's,
shiz today. How's that
let's fly,
sound,
fly,
everybody?
fly. Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast of the Rude Barn Podcast. Welcome. Oh, real ID, dude. Real ID, not fake, not illusional ID. This is the real thing.
Now, does this have and I've been wondering this, and my trusty dusty co-host here, he does a lot of research and for this show, and I love you for that. But does
Thanks, buddy.
REAL, is that an acronym?
Oh my goodness. Are you going down some hole we call the rabbit
I mean, we're in the
hole?
back rooms, aren't we?
Oh, we
Look,
are.
Dad,
Look at
I don't know.
look at where I'm going. Right down there.
That looks like a scary ass
Oh hell
place you're
yeah.
going.
Got my flashlight.
I'm just throwing it out there, but it's
Mm,
the real ID, and they're pushing the name real, and I
yeah.
don't, you know.
You know what I'm gonna do? And I think you and I can do it when we have a minute. But we got to add some more merch to the store with the whole real ID thing, and
Oh,
real
we
this, real that,
should.
real the other. And you know where that store is, real quick? That's right. It's therudebarn.etsy.com, where you're
Mhm,
going to get this merch. And we're going to put some stuff up about the real ID. So
mhm.
please keep a lookout for it. But check it out. We're trying to sell some merch, help with the show, help build the show, do bigger and better things, and continue bringing this to you. And then one last shout out, and then we'll get right back into the show about the real ID, is our good friends at the Bearded Viking. Tell us a little about that real fast, and then we'll jump right back into real ID.
You know what? The Bearded Viking just had our first year anniversary. Had a huge meetup up at the up in Montana,
Nice.
up at the meadery, and it turned out absolutely fantastic. There were some bands that played, a lot of people that came out, a lot of people that love us. But mead, oldest alcohol in the world. We started off, making it kind of, we call it bathtub hooch,
Oh yeah.
but now I think we got 14 different flavors, and we're completely covering the state of Montana and going
everywhere
beyond,
in the nation.
Florida is going to be covered again or next, but you can ship straight to your door in 43 states. So beardedviking.com. Check out the Hooch Finder and see where you can get it near you if you can't get it sent to your porch. But yeah, it's great stuff.
There's nothing better than bathtub hooch. And you know what?
Yeah.
I hope your batches are bigger than the bathtub amount.
Oh yes,
Because it's big enough for collard greens. Thank you, Kamala Harris, for that. But for hooch, I think you need a little bit more.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, we're going to get those shirts up for the real ID, because there's some crap in here about the real ID that you just have to question, like, why do we need a real ID when our current IDs were completely and totally fine? And what was wrong with what we had right now? Why is it that we have to have that stupid little gold star or Black Star, whatever it is, in the corner to show that it is. So we're going to kind of get into that.
Well, especially because we were born and raised U.S. citizens. So wouldn't you think our IDs should be real? I don't know.
You would think. I mean, we'd have to have. They have to prove who you are. Okay, first of all, you got to go through a whole rigmarole initially. You got to show your birth certificate. You have to do a few other things to get your original driver's license when you turn 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so you have to go through all those hoops. So you have to kind of prove yourself. If you don't have a driver's license when you're 16, you have to wait till later. Well, you got to do it then, of course, and stuff like that. So all of that was to prove that is who you are. And you didn't need the gold star in the corner, right? I mean, anyway.
I mean, it's your birth certificate, it's your social security card, stuff like that. Yeah.
And guess what I was able to do with that original non-gold starred regular driver's license?
What's that?
I was able to fly like an eagle.
So you don't have a gold star. Is that what you're telling me, Barn?
Well, I did. Actually, yeah. Well, here's the thing. When we had this, when I got it renewed, they automatically did it here in this state. And I had no choice. I had no say-so. I couldn't opt out. I couldn't do anything. I'm like, well, what the hell? Why are we doing this? Okay, fine. I got a gold star. And I've had one for a while, so I haven't had to clamor, run down to the DMV, pay all this money to get my real ID so I can fly.
So when's the last time you got it renewed?
Several years ago.
Okay. I've been meaning to check mine just to see. And it's not near me, so I can't pull it out right now, but I don't know if there's a star on there or not. But I think and mine's coming up, and I think you have to do it every 10 years or something like that. So I don't know if they were doing it.
5 for a driver's license.
Okay.
10 for a passport, which oddly enough you can use to fly.
No,
wait till you hear some of the reasoning. Wait till you hear some of the reasoning they're saying to use the real ID. I mean, it's unbelievable.
No, dude. Anyway,
it's crazy.
All
yeah,
right.
we'll talk about
Let's dive in.
Yeah, let's get going. All right, so of course, real ID enforcement's going on right now, and here's how some of the travel is shaping up, like they say. After an uneven rollout that left many scrambling, the Department of Motor Vehicles appointments ahead of long-anticipated enforcement of real ID, air travel across the U.S. went smoothly Wednesday. Hallelujah. Man alive, I am telling you.
Thank God for that.
While 81% of travelers real ID, they forgot to say are real ID compliant. Some states have much lower compliance rates. Okay, well, that's to be expected, just depending on where you are. Anyway, it goes on. I am going to stick a link for every single one of these articles because there's just way too much to worry about talking about. We really kind of want to hit some points on here that show why we need it and why they had to do it and everything like that. So here's another one where we talk about these, where they're saying real ID is now required for air travel. Notice how this is the big push to get everybody to use these and get these, is for air travel. It's why are they pushing? Why do you think they might be pushing this whole thing to be able to travel? And what is the real ID supposed to have that's different? So aside from being used to board domestic flights, it'll also be required to enter secure federal facilities, which most of us do on a daily basis. Not.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is just insanity on what they're trying to push on this. And it makes you wonder, why are they trying to push this so hard? And why are they saying you can't travel, you can't fly unless you have this? Isn't it interesting that you can't do things unless these people tell you have to do this?
Well, what's
Remember
next?
COVID, that would thing?
Yeah. That's kind of like what I'm thinking. What's next? You can't get emergency service if you don't have your real ID. You can't get police service at your house for crimes unless you have a real ID. It almost sounds a little umbrella-y if you ask me, brother.
Well, yeah, and now they're asking, can I fly after Wednesday, 2 days ago? if I don't have real ID. And yes, you can use your passport as an alternate. So it's okay, your passport's okay, because you had to go birth certificate and all that, but your driver's license should have been the same thing as well initially, and then you just kind of renew it with a new photo to update as you get older and things like that. So why do we have to get something different than what we already had? And I think the best way, what they're doing, and this started back in 2005, by the way, they're trying to get this through. This thing's been going back and forth, and they've had lawmakers, vote this down.
Well, shouldn't it be standardized? I mean, like if this is what they want and this is what they're requiring, shouldn't it have been standardized? I mean,
well, that's their point. That's what they're trying to say. We're trying to standardize this now, and so now you have that, and then you, if you go to travel.state.gov, oddly enough, travel.state.gov, notice a theme here of what they're trying to push on this whole thing. U.S. passports and real ID. The Real ID Act requires IDs issued by a state to meet federal security standards. And it's all, remember, everything's about safety, security. All of that. And it's compliance. Notice the words compliance, compliant. We are just sheep, apparently, and we need to be herded into the pens, and be able to do it, and to be able to do anything. And remember when they were trying to do the vaccine passport so you can travel from state to state or elsewhere? Remember, it's nobody's effing business what my vaccine status is or is not.
Right, and that's what stinks of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Hugely.
Yeah. So they're saying if you don't have a real ID, check with your state on how to apply for one and consider applying for a U.S. passport, book, or card. And by the way, there's a difference between a passport card and a passport book. A passport card is probably about as useful as your regular driver's license is. Okay. But the passport book is different. It's more in depth. It's the one that you can use without having the real ID to travel abroad and domestically as well. So there's a difference. Get the passport book, not a passport card.
Oh my god!
It's no. This is absolutely.
I thought the book. I thought the book was standard, and it had like pages in it that you could have stamped and all that kind of crap, right? Isn't that standard?
Book. Yeah, that's the stat. But there's also just a card. It's like an ID card, but it is your passport. So
I didn't know you could even have that.
Yeah, it's different.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Started looking at this. Yeah. So for domestic flights, passport card can be used for ID. It cannot be used for international travel. So it's only domestic flights. So see, there's the difference. You can use it and not have to have the real ID, but to travel domestically. But when it comes to internationally, make sure you have the book. But the book can be used for both. The size fits in your wallet just like a driver's license. You can enter the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Caribbean, Bermuda, land border crossings, seaport of entry, and it just tells you a little bit of it. It's okay, and all that, but still, it's whatever. So, real ID versus driver's license versus enhanced driver's license, everything you need to know. Dude, it just goes on. This is why I'm going to put links in here in the description so you can read all this if you like. I will just go through a little bit here. How to tell if you have a real ID. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's this gold star thing right here, the black star. If you can see my cursor, it's the star in a white circle or the black circle, or in California, because they're special.
Because they're special, yeah.
They get the ass of the bear. The star is on the ass of the bear, which is kind of apropos for California. I grew up there, so I can say this, and I'm almost ashamed to say I even was from there. The right things are going there.
Bunch of bear asses.
Oh my god. Yeah. I still use a driver's license to fly in the U.S. As of May 7th, passengers will not be allowed through TSA checkpoints with a driver's license that isn't a real ID. Isn't that something? the fake IDs that we have now that don't have the star on them and all that stuff, which are supposed to be able to verify our person and who we are and where we're from and where we live, apparently not good enough.
So, can I still use a driver's license? So, the answer would be this, Batman. So does the driver's license automatically have it on there? And I guess this was my biggest question about this whole thing.
Yeah.
That I hadn't looked into. Is the driver's license, does it automatically have the star on it? And like the ID that you go get like as just like an ID, not have it? Is that kind of the difference, or what are we doing here? Are there driver's licenses that you got from like, say, like a third party driver's school or something like that? You still had to go to the DMV.
Well, you still got to get it from the DMV. Yeah.
Yeah, you still got to go to the DMV. But I know there is a difference between a driver's license and like just a standalone personal ID card, right?
Yeah, there's a difference. One allows you to drive a vehicle, and the other one is just to identify who you are.
Yeah, just an ID.
Well, yeah, and when I got mine renewed, I can't remember when it was. It was a couple years ago, a few years ago. Can't remember. It was a while ago. So, because I don't even remember, it's been a while. When I got the new one, it had it on there automatically. I didn't get to opt out. I didn't get to have a say-so in it. I didn't get to vote for the fact that, oh, you know what? Yes, government, this would be a great idea for you to be able to track us even more.
Yeah.
Because there's a barcode on the back that they scan, and here in this state, you have to have that scanned every time you go into a bar.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how old you are. You
Yeah,
can be 90, and they'll still have to scan your ID.
Yes, they do. It's a tracking thing. Like I have the barcode one. So does that one have the star on it? Do you know?
It probably does.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
I'll have to look.
And then you have to do that when you go to the liquor store if you want to buy booze or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And wherever else. I mean, and I'm always been annoyed with the fact that, remember how it used to be? If you look under 30, we card you. We just want to make sure you're old enough to buy booze.
Now it's automatic. Like
now,
yeah,
my in-laws, my wife's folks still get carded. I get carded. I don't believe I look anywhere near 21 anymore.
Yeah, your hair isn't dyed blonde. It's gray.
It is gray.
My hair isn't dyed like this weird.
Your long locks there, Rude, are gray.
These are gray. These are homegrown gray, baby.
Going on right there.
And I get dyed, or I eat everywhere.
Yeah,
you know?
I know exactly. But I hate getting the scan. Like, really, you have to scan this just for me to get into the free. I'm freaking older than 21 by a lot. Okay, so
well, and half the time you're older than the people that are IDing you.
Yeah,
I mean, we are, at least at this point.
So here's where the star would be. It's up in the upper right corner of the driver's license. Doesn't matter if it's Vermont or Utah or California or Arkansas or wherever. It's going to be up in the upper right corner. So see, and global entry. You still need it if you have pre-check, clear, or global entry. You still need to have your real ID to show them, because again, you had to go through all the hoops to get the clear and global entry and all that. And then here's showing. This is this guy, John Sample. He's a good guy. This guy. There's no star.
Yeah.
There's no star. So therefore, this would apparently got a hologram. You got a reverse image. You've got, I don't know, all these different things in there, but it's still not good enough because they think you can counterfeit it. I mean, you don't think people can counterfeit this shit? Anyway, it goes on. Bottom line, if your driver's license is already our real ID compliant, you should be good to travel. Well, thank God, yeah, because mine is. I mean, it's just Real ID Act of 2005. This is how long these MFers have been putting this together, man. I'm telling you.
Really? Wow.
They have. Now, what happened a couple years before 2005? What was it? Oh, yeah, that's where a couple planes flew into a couple buildings.
Yeah, some planes went rogue. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we lost a lot of freedoms because of the aptly named Patriot Act, just like the Inflation Reduction Act and affirmative action, and all of these things that sound really good are actually opposites of what they really are. Went into effect, and therefore that's why we have to take off our damn shoes because of that one guy. We're still taking our damn shoes off, but we have a scanner that you have to get everything out of your pocket because it'll detect a little piece of paper in your pocket. But we still have to take our shoes off. Has anybody else ever wondered that? You go through those scanners and you ever wonder why you're still taking your shoes off when they can detect that you still have a little piece of paper in your pocket?
My thing is too is like where the technology hasn't advanced far enough to where you can't tell if I got something nefarious in my shoes or not. Like, come on, man.
I know. It's freaking 24 years later, for hell's sake.
Right?
So this was an act to establish a rapidly implement regulations for state driver's license and identification document security standards. There's our little keyword right there. Standards. To prevent terrorists. And that's how they always put this stuff. For your safety, for your security, because of terrorism, because of a health crisis, because of a pandemic, or what, fill in the blank with whatever word. It's a Mad Lib. Fill in the blank with whatever word you want to do. Those of you who know what a Mad Lib is, thank you so much.
You probably have a real idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And this is to unify terrorism-related grounds for inadmissibility and removal. Is that what it's for? Is that what we're using this excuse to put something that surveils us more, because it has a scanner. You have to scan it in wherever you go to get on a plane. That's what it is. 20 years later, the Real ID deadline is here. Here's why it took so long. You can read through this yourself. Here's one of the reasons. Because the Oklahoma City bombers bought their fertilizer for the bomb using a counterfeit ID made by a wife of one of them on an ironing board.
So we have
this
to
is why
show
we're justifying
our IDs now to buy fertilizer?
Well, if you're buying
I'm
fertilizer
asking for a friend.
and the other ingredients that are used to not just feed your crops so that you can grow your beautiful crops, beautiful, big, beautiful crops, you have to
but all the ingredients, I mean, was it all bought at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever?
Here's my question. Why did Timothy McVeigh and I'm trying to remember the other guy's name have to show an ID to buy fertilizer? Was it just the amount that they bought? And don't farmers usually, it's fertilizer. And at the time, nobody was using a fertilizer bomb very often, if at all, until that.
Right.
So why would you still need to have an ID at that point? I'm just saying, maybe it's totally legit. They do it all the time. I don't know, but I'm just saying it seems a little weird just to buy fertilizer, even though it was 50 bags.
Yeah. So what?
Well, I got a big yard.
I got 50 acres, man. I mean, yeah.
How many bags of fertilizer can you fit in that van that they parked in front of the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City? How many bags fit in there? 100?
Yeah.
50? 80? I don't know. Seems weird. The fake IDs didn't come into play during the 9/11 attacks. The attackers were already in the country legally. So how is the Real ID going to stop that? Does anybody ask this question other than us and a few other people on the interwebs here?
So this almost feels like, because we're yelling and screaming and throwing our hands up. Our government is about illegal immigrants, right?
Mm-hmm. They seem to be.
So
last admin, yeah.
This Real ID thing, like if they started this thing in 2005, I think they're like, okay, it's not really that big a deal. Here, this and this and this and that. And then now that they're on this, immigration kick, now it's like this big push
all of a sudden
for the Real ID comes back into play. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, I think it's a little bit too much, too late. If that's a thing, does that make sense?
Instead of too little, too late, it's a whole lot more.
It's too much, too late. Yeah.
Well, this definitely seems overkill.
Because I mean the measures that they're going almost seem like this, like it raises question.
Yeah.
Like why do we have to go through all this, especially established citizens? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Now I don't know if you'll be able to hear this because I put this on a different way here, but this is Kristi Noem. And I don't know what's going on, but sometimes, when you get into Washington, all your good intentions, something happens to you, and all of a sudden you get influenced, you get bought off, something. And now she's trying to push this.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity. Get a real ID.
Hey folks, how you doing? Wanted to come to you real quick and talk.
Again, because your regular driver's license ID is not real enough to prove who you are.
You're right.
All right, let's listen to this guy because he's actually got some really good comments here.
Talking about the real ID. You guys see it trending all over the internet right now. You have to have your real ID if you want to fly before May 7th. Why do you think that is? Why do you have to have a real ID? Didn't your driver's license previously work? Oh, there was no chip in that previous ID. I see a lot of people going, what's the big deal? Let's get the real ID. What's in it? Why do we have to get it? Why is the government pushing for us to get a really thick card that there could be a chip inside of that card? And how
we'll
does
address
the chip
that shortly.
work? Can the chip be destroyed? I mean, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just asking questions here. Just
like we do.
Is there a chip in your real ID card? Why do you have to have a real ID card? How does it make you safer?
These IDs keep our country safe because they help prevent fraud and they enhance security.
So the government can track you. It makes you safer. Is that right? I'm just so curious. I keep reading people's comments like, what's the big deal? Well, they're already tracking us every which way from Sunday through our phone. I don't want to be tracked just because I have my driver's license in my pocket. Is there a listening apparatus in the real ID? What else is in the real ID? What other kind of chips are in the real ID? What other kind of chips?
Now, that's just conspiracy theory. I don't think there's a listening device in there. But he does raise a good question. Well, he's being ridiculous on purpose because there's probably a lot more shit. And there is an RFID chip in these, and I'll prove it to you. And I have something to show you in a minute that says that.
Chips are available today. And the bigger question I have is, why aren't you asking questions about what's in the real ID? Do you think that there's not something in the real ID? Do you think that there's nothing in it? Why do you think the government wants you to get the real ID? You have to get it or you can't fly in May of 2025. Why are they doing that?
You will need a real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States.
Your driver's license doesn't identify you? How does it make you safer? Comment down below. Tell me, do you think that there's a tracking chip in the real ID? Is it audio? What else can the real ID do for the government? Because it doesn't help you at all. The real ID doesn't help you at all whatsoever. It is a government apparatus to track you. That's what I'm going to bet. All right, I'm out of here.
Fair enough. I mean, to be honest with you, he raises all the questions we're raising. And it's true. What is it with this that makes us, the citizens, safer?
Well, that's the kind of thing. It's the fear monger behind it. You know what I mean? I think, and it's the creation of that kind of fear. Well, you wouldn't want terrorists to be able to fly, right? Well, they're not going to be able to get a real ID because they don't have this, and that.
Although the terrorists in 9/11 were already here and they already had IDs and they got on your plane anyway.
Right, and I think it's that whole kind of fear behind it. I mean, we've seen it, we saw it during 9/11, we saw it during COVID, we saw it, and it's I guess it's the fear that they put behind us or behind it that people just run and say, okay, I'll do it. Yeah. And then not realizing that compliance is really kind of, it's obviously what they want,
forced,
but it's Yeah, but it's really kind of walking you down the path of, tracking. I mean, what next? You
Right.
have to have the implanted chip in your wrist to be able to fly. I
Interesting
mean,
you say that, yeah, because that's
come
where a
on,
lot of
dog.
people are going. That's where a lot of people are going. And here's the other question.
Is
that
that going
I
to be the new real ID in the next 5 years, the next 10 years?
We have talked about that before. But yes, and here's the other question that I think it's amazing to me that people are not asking and not pushing back on this because they're just sheep. We really have a lot of stupid people in this world, who don't ask these questions. And here's the question. Remember voter ID? Nobody wanted you to have voter ID so you can vote because all the disenfranchised people, all the people of color, all the black people who are too stupid and dumb and moronic to go get their own IDs and driver's licenses, and same with the the Hispanics and the Asians. No, only the white people are smart enough to go get this. I mean, how condescending and just disgusting of racist comment could you make?
Right.
So now they're making you get an ID to fly and all this, but you still don't need one to vote.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? So this guy here puts this whole question to the test as well, because that was my thought. Before I saw these and researched and found a few of these things, I was thinking the same thing. It's like, wait a minute. So nobody wants you to have an ID so you can vote, but you have got to have this or you can't fly, you can't go into a federal building, all this shit. It's unbelievable. Real ID is just your driver's license, silly. What's wrong with you? Well, you would only need a real ID to fly. Real ID will be used for voter ID. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? Meanwhile, the United Nations is literally rolling out a journey pass, kind of like a vaccine passport, but it's for regular people to fly all over the world. Shouldn't the United Nations just disappear, dissipate, go away, and die?
Fucking kidding me?
Oh my god!
And mandatory compliance will be required if you want to. That is
full biometrics. Have you noticed? We just flew back in November, and actually in December, but internationally we flew, and they now have a scanner thing where you just look into the camera and you don't even need to show your boarding pass or your ID or anything else to get on that plane once you're actually boarding.
Bro, are you serious?
Oh yeah. And if you want to opt away and not look at the screen, which you should do, which I unfortunately didn't, because I'm like, we were waiting 5 hours delayed on this flight. It was 3 hours later than it was supposed to leave from the original 2-hour delay. It was 3 more hours. So I was just like, fuck, I just want to get on the plane. Jesus. So I had to look at the damn thing. And I'm like, this is what we're doing now? Facial recognition, biometrics, everything. You won't need anything. It will be your face. I mean, talk about Big Brother. I'm sure that nothing will go wrong with that. That won't be used for nefarious purposes ever.
Well,
I mean,
there's been plenty of movies made about this kind of weird shit, right? Like the futuristic tracking that is kind of obviously being put upon us now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to roll into all of that, and that's like, I don't know, man.
Isn't it interesting that they talk about Minority Report, where they're going to look at all your social media and see that you are predetermined to commit a crime?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yet, and they want to do that. Yet they can't follow the Butler, Pennsylvania social media. That what's his face?
Right.
I'm blanking on his name. Thomas Crooks. They couldn't get into his social media. That was magically deleted off the internet. And then same with Roush, the other guy, Ruth, who was at the golf course, in Trump International Golf Course, and got caught before him. They deleted all of his as well, or something, I think. But they won't look at that to determine, and I think they did the same thing with the Columbine massacre way back in Colorado, 20 years ago, whatever it was. These guys had stuff out there. They're talking about all this stuff. They're upset, but nobody came after them. Now it seems like this is what they're going to try to do now, is it's going to be Minority Report. They're going to try to put you away before you even commit the crime. And it's just, this is just, and look at their scrap. Like I said, this is their way of scrapping a physical boarding pass. No thanks. I would rather have that piece of paper you have to scan when I walk onto that plane. Thank you very much.
Well, it just kind of seems that like it's that whole thing to where they're I guess like moving the sheep and trying to move everybody else into this digital age corral.
Yep.
And they're just going to keep kind of pushing this shit and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And then, obviously, people like us, they're like, hell no, we won't go. We're going to get ousted and quote unquote dealt with or something. But,
well, if we don't push back, certainly that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. But the thing is too, is like, we can push back and we can raise hell and we can say, no, we're not going to do this. But in the end, it's almost like it's a freedom that they're taking away that we've all enjoyed for,
that
forever.
We're willingly giving them as well,
True.
Like, by our compliance.
And then, yeah, exactly. And then, the majority of people that comply is going to be higher than the people that are pushing back. And then, we're going to be considered, the rogue or the,
oh yeah, no, we'll be the
compliant.
conspiracy theorists. We'll be the ones that are fighting the man. We'll be the ones that are the assholes because we're questioning what's going on. Yeah, no, we see all.
It's
of
just
this.
it'll be the same thing with the shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's people without the shot are considered. The outsiders and the non-compliers and but
you're killing my mom.
I consider myself a true blood, but I don't have that bullshit in me. You know what I mean?
Well, you and I are both pure bloods. That's for damn sure.
And that's
we like it that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this guy goes on and he's talking about this, there it is. This will lead directly to digital ID. And we've talked about that before. And central bank digital currency and digital IDs are all the same thing to control us. They'll take away your money if they want to. If you're not doing what they tell you, you won't be able to fly because they'll just turn it off.
Just turn it off.
Electron. Yeah. It's like OnStar. They'll just turn your car on or off or whatever. And now Tesla's got their version of OnStar. And so they how he can remotely control any Tesla in the world. That's what they can do. And then it's going to lead to this social credit system, which we talked about before. Is what if you're a bad boy? What if you keep going to the liquor store too many times in their eyes? Well, you're a risk on the highway because you're probably a drunk. And so it's this way of controlling people. And I don't know who these people are, who they think that they can run my life better than I can. It's like, punish me after the fact if I do something wrong, but don't do it beforehand because I maybe show a pattern. Well, it doesn't mean I'm stocking up. I'm not drinking everything. It's just
but it's just eerily reminiscent of that whole just taking away your freedoms, just like one toothpick at a time,
Yeah.
And then what are we left with?
I know. Well, we're left with no boarding passes. You can't even scan your phone here, dude. All you have to do is just walk up and look in the camera. Just look in the camera and smile.
I got to put your thumb on the thing, and then they'll decide whether you can fly or not, or if they're going to detain you.
Oh, I know. And then there's a lot of people that can't you just use your passport if you're concerned with this? Well, yes. But Patriot Voice here does bring up a good point. Well, you will no longer be able to at some point.
Right. They're going to take that away too.
Right. Because it was, oh, yeah, sure, you can use your passport. for now.
Look at these comments. One world government is tightening the screws step by step. That's exactly what we're saying. They're just taking these freedoms away.
That's by 1,000 cuts, man.
In toothpick measures to where it doesn't seem like it's a big deal.
Well, see, and then here's the majority of the idiots, the useful idiots out there who are falling in line with this. Kim Hughes, Kim, you're an idiot. I'm going to call you out right now. You're a moron. Not mandatory for those with passports. Please be accurate. And he's right. Yet. You're correct. Yeah. Passports you can use for now, and I hope for a long time. But just wait. And
in
it's
5 years, I bet. Yeah, in 5 years they're going to be outlawing passports too.
Yeah, you can't use your passport. Now you have to get a real passport. A real passport, real ID, real. It's like a smartphone, a smart refrigerator, a smart car, a smart lock, a smart everything. Anything that's smart is hackable.
Well, and what's going to happen is they're going to be like, okay, there's going to be a terrorist attack, and they used their passports.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So because of that, then like, you know what? Let's just go digital. And it'd be really easy if you just got this. Boom! It's a quick tap. You get this. You get your little chip, and it's your ID chip. It's your ID chip for life.
It's your everything chip.
It's your everything chip. You just pop that in your wrist, and you'll be good. Yeah.
No, thank you.
About this.
No.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Or get this tattoo that's a barcode.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
This Dr. Mary Talley Bowden is right. Real ID is more than just a government ID. It's an unconstitutional usurpation of individual and states' rights that gives the Secretary of Homeland Security and who's the Secretary of Homeland Security? Was that Christie? Who I liked, but what is going on? Why is she allowing this type of unbelievable surveillance and tracking state happen? Oh no, it's used for good. Oh really? Well, what about the bad side? What about the flip side of that coin?
No, I think she's getting bullied into it, bro.
I think she is too. Of course.
Hands down, I think she's getting bullied into it.
Here you go. One look and you're on the airplane. See, I'm not lying. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't flown lately, you just look into the camera and smile. Well, you don't even have to smile. Yeah, so now you can board your flight using Delta Biometrics and any other airline, to be honest with you. A new way to more seamlessly navigate the airport. See how that works? Isn't that awesome?
I hate that word.
I know. Seamlessly and like safety and security and convenience and everything else.
Well, biometrics. Just
biometrics. Facial recognition, people.
Yeah.
The Cato Institute had this article back in 2007. Will Real ID actually make us safer? Yeah, I would love to know that answer. An examination of privacy and civil liberties and concerns. So it goes down, talks about this. We'll leave this link in here so you can read this whole article. The Real ID Act is a dead letter. All that remains of Congress to declare it so. They were trying to shoot this down. Real ID does not secure the country. Yeah, and you can read that paragraph in there.
Yeah.
I'll highlight some more, and then we'll go through, because there's like pros and cons list I want to get to real quick, and then we got to move on. Department of Homeland Security punted on the hard issues. Shocker on that one. And you can read this whole thing. It is fascinating, but I would love to know how they think this makes everything safer. Real ID, the race card. See, now here they are again.
Yeah,
they're talking about how people of color are too stupid to be able to figure this shit out. You're just too dumb. You people of color are too dumb. How insulting.
It is. It's really very insulting.
Anyway, you go through and read all that. Now, from driver's license digital dossier, why someone worried about Real ID. This was May 3rd. This is about almost a week ago. They'll talk about enforcement, and here's Nick Sample. Nick Sample, he's good to go. He's got the Nick is good to go.
He's flying free.
Yeah, and it talks about all of that. We'll leave this article in there. We just got to crank through this. Sorry, folks, we got to go. This is what I want to talk about. 17 pros and cons of Real ID. Okay, let's just start here. Enhanced national security. Oh, really? Really? I call BS on that one. Standardization, verification across the states. Okay, I agree with that one. It sucks, but I agree that that's what they're trying to do. Standardize verification across the states.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. I'll give that a ding.
Yeah. Now, simplified domestic travel, I call bullshit on this one.
Yeah.
Didn't our driver's licenses take care of that originally?
Didn't our passports, if we didn't have our driver's license, take
and
care
then
of
same thing to accessing the freaking federal facilities.
that?
You know.
I'd hate that.
Prevention of identity theft. I'm not sure how that does that.
$10 says Barn.
It enhances the ability to prevent identity by introducing rigorous standards for verifying individuals. No, it doesn't. Mine got renewed, and I didn't do anything different than renew my freaking driver's license, and it popped up on there with the gold star on it.
Dude, I bet you, like, shit you not, within the next year, that they're gonna push this as far as like identity theft goes to the absolute
to the nth
max,
degree,
bro.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree. Anything,
and why they need a chip in there,
safety,
and why they
privacy, security. Yeah, they're going to push it all.
Dude, they're going to push
bunch
it
of
so
bullshit.
hardcore.
Read through this article, people. This will kill you. Improve public safety. I don't know how a real ID improves public safety. Really, I mean, they come up with this bullshit marketing crap right in here, talking about reduces the use of fake IDs for age restricted. Sure, you can actually use somebody's real ID, and if you kind of look like them, just like we used to do without an actual fake ID, he had a real ID of somebody who looked like you used to go and get beer. Give me a break.
If you've ever done sips and tips,
yeah,
you can. I mean, they show you how to tell.
Oh yeah,
who's underage and who's not. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But this will boost trust and identification. Will it? Will it
boost trust?
Facilitate? No. Oh, please explain to me how this is gonna. And then I don't want to read your bullshit about your little public relation bullshit about how this facilitates emergency response.
So if I don't have the star,
you're not going to come help me if I'm in.
Yeah, am I second on the list at 911?
Right. Encourages the modernization of state systems. And I agree with that. It will encourage modernization. And what does that mean? More surveillance, more tracking, more control over what we do and what we can say and do and eat and
where
buy
where we can go.
Where we can go.
We can go there.
Supports international standards. Is that the same international standards that the UN is trying to implement as well? So that they can control the world population? Is that what that's supposed to mean? Here are the cons. Privacy concerns. Yes, and yes.
Right.
Okay. Exclusion of this is ridiculous. Exclusion of vulnerable Who are the fucking vulnerable populations? If you're here illegally, you're not supposed to have an ID anyway.
Exclusion. Is that how they're saying?
Real ID. This is how they're saying it. Because I know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Real ID systems strict documentation requirements. You know, the really strict ones we had when all the immigrants are coming in over the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Create barriers for vulnerable populations, such as undocumented immigrants, homeless individuals, and the elderly who lack access to necessary records.
Jesus Christ.
Can you smell that? It smells like a bunch of bullshit.
Dude.
Cost of compliance. Okay, so yeah, obviously it costs money to put the RFID chip in these cards that'll track you just as much as everything else. Just get one of those RFID wallets. They're great. I have one and I put all my shit in there so nobody can scan my credit cards from there or even this and get my information because it's a blocker. Get one of those.
I just got one recently and I love it.
Yeah, get a Faraday bag for your phone, everything else. You can get behind that. Inconvenience during transition. Yeah, that you have to go to the DMV if you haven't gotten it automatically renewed. Potential for discrimination. Oh, here you go. Potential for discrimination, dude. Critics argue the real ID system could lead to discrimination against individuals who have not have a compliant ID. Yeah, just like the vaccine shit that we were supposed. You can't go to a restaurant unless you were proved you had the fucking jab. Give me a break. This is fucking bullshit.
The whole thing is based on discrimination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you're a good sheep, you're good. You get to go. If you're questioning it, you're a bad sheep.
Like,
you're the black sheep.
Number one on the list of pros should have been discrimination.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this could create a two-tiered system. Oh, you think we're non-compliant individuals?
Yeah.
I want everybody to read that. Non-compliant individuals. So people like us who speak out and say this is bullshit, are we those non-compliant individuals? Is that who we're going to be?
Yeah, what does that consist of?
Yeah, and then we're going to have like our family go, oh, you're just supposed to get on the plane. Just agree to it so you can go do the things you want to do.
You need to get here for the wedding. You need to get here for the funeral.
Do you hear yourself? Yeah, do you hear yourself when you say that?
Yeah.
Impact.
I hear my crazy aunt saying that.
Impact on state autonomy. Oh my God. Limited effectiveness against fraud. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to prevent fraud. How? Maybe a little bit, but negligible for the amount it's going to cost to do. Is an inconvenience it's putting us. Conclusion: the Real ID Act was introduced as a response to growing concerns about national security. And who is voicing these concerns about national security? That we need this ID. Who was doing that? It strengthens trust in identification documents. Oh my God. No, it just puts more control in the government's hands that they can know what we're doing every little aspect of our life, which they already do now because they hear every conversation, read every email, hear every text that we have, and every credit card purchase we make. They already know all this shit anyway. They know what we're saying right now,
Well, and I think that they're fooling us with this, you know what I mean? And I think that, we're that the Xers are getting senile. No, we're not. We're coming up on 50, but we're not senile. You know what I mean? This is horse shit.
This is all bullshit. And if you people can't see beyond your little world of the propaganda that's been spewed into your head through every media outlet and every governmental institution that's pushing it through every media outlet and social media, influencer, you need to wake the hell up and realize what's really going on, you morons. Does the Real ID card have an RFID chip in it? Oh, yes, the Real ID card does not have. I think they meant not to say not in there. So anyway, you were going to say what? What were you going to comment on?
I was going to say, like, if you don't have an RFID wallet, if you don't have the phone on the wall, like the phone on the wall, like we did, in the 80s. Yeah. If you use the internet, if you have a smartphone, you have agreed to comply to some of these measures and some of these tracking measures already. But I guess my question is how far are you willing to let it go and control
into your life? Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Or knowing that it's there, then we just do countermeasures because it's going to happen anyway. So we have to. It's like there's the hackers. The hackers get into a system and then they build a better secure system, and then the hackers eventually get into that, and then they have to build a better, firewall or whatever to keep the hackers out. And then it's just a constant back and forth. You build a better system, then the system gets hacked. You build a better system, the system gets hacked again, and so on and so on. Mm-hmm. So yes. They have RFID in the Real ID, which we didn't have in our regular driver's license. This is why they wanted to get you a new Real ID. So they can put all this shit in there. And I didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice because I bet you your ID has the star on it and you didn't get to vote for it. You didn't get to opt out. You didn't get to do anything.
Right. So I bet you it does.
So these are the questions that we're trying to have people ask. We really need to question these measures that are supposed to be for the good of us so that we have a better life. No, it's not for our betterment. It's not for our safety. It's not for anything else. So the government has better safety. I shouldn't say safety. So they have better ways of tracking us and keeping us.
Control us, to see us.
To control us.
And to keep us in the pins that they want to keep us in.
I mean, think about this, like with the digital IDs and all this, where they can turn things on and off or something like that, your social credit score. What if you have this Real ID and they have it tracked to your file and you have an unpaid parking ticket that you forgot about, that you didn't pay, and you're trying to fly back to see grandma's funeral back east. And they won't let you fly because, oh, you know what? Sorry, Mr. Barn, you have a unpaid parking ticket from 5 years ago or 6 months ago or whatever it is. We can't allow you to fly. Mm-hmm. You don't think that could happen? Couldn't happen?
Oh, Oh, Mr. Martinez, we got a snapshot of you on the freeway going 20 over.
Yeah.
And you haven't paid that ticket yet. So
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
you're
'Cause
not
you're a
going
hardened
to be able
criminal.
to fly today.
Yeah. Please,
It's
people,
just
ask questions. Seriously, go to the rudebarn.etsy.com. We're going to put some real shirts up. We're going to make a bunch of real stuff. We'll try to figure it out.
Look,
Hopefully, it'll be soon. But
and our
check it out.
thing is
We
always ask questions.
question everything.
And make your voice known, like yell, scream,
Yeah.
stomp. Yeah, because if
This isn't right, and you have to say it.
right, and if people like us don't do that, and if there's just an inkling that you feel like this just might be a little bit more intrusive than you're comfortable with,
Yeah.
say something.
Why?
Yell, scream.
Ask
You
why
know?
do we need this?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
do I need this? I don't need it. The
How is
government
this-
apparently needs it to track me
How
better.
is this improving my quality of life, Barn?
How does it make me safer?
Oh, it makes everything so
questioning.
It's just flawless. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it.
No, it's ridiculous. So that's all we're saying. It's going to happen. So now we just have to counter it. We have to
Yes.
counter it. Get your radio RFID blocking wallet. Get your Faraday bag for your phone. Do all these little things, but ask questions. Why is it? How does this make my life better? Why do I need it? Is it really that much better that I need to have this, or is it just maybe incrementally, slightly better? But it's not really worth the hassle of doing this shit, putting my privacy in question.
At constant, yeah. Well, I mean, just opening the door to it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I
Exactly.
mean, I guess my advice is get a fifth wheel.
Right.
Buy some
Go off the
property
grid.
Yeah, buy some property in the mountains. Go
Yeah.
off the grid and live a happy life.
Happy life, happy something. What? Anyway, I can't remember. It's a life thing. It's
Wife
some
life,
sort of
yeah,
rhyme,
whatever.
some poem, whatever.
Raise some
Anyway.
cows, eat some
Yeah,
meat.
exactly. Yeah. Well, gang, thanks for joining us. I hope this kind of opened your eyes to this real ID thing. And there's a lot of people who are questioning the validity of this and why we need it and what's really behind it. What are they really trying to do? Is this the next step into digital IDs? No, I'd rather have a card that I have to take out of my wallet. I know it's inconvenient. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to
that.
grab my wallet out of my pocket and then push my ID card out of there and it's hard. It's so hard to do.
You know what, Barn? I'd rather do that than go like this
Oh yeah,
and have
I mean,
them
it's
scan
bad
my
enough we're
barcode.
paying for stuff like that.
Oh
having our
God,
phone.
dude, no!
I mean, at least I have to
do
tap
it.
my
I
credit
refuse
card.
to do it.
You know, oh my God, I know. I don't
Right.
use Apple Pay. Sorry, or Google Pay
Nope.
or any of those others.
Yeah. No,
Well, thanks for
not
joining us,
that-
gang.
that
We
cool.
are the Rude Barn, and we're just sick and tired of this shit that's going on. That's taking away our freedoms and everything incrementally every single day. We are the frogs in the pot of boiling water that is slowly heating up, and if we don't get out in time, we're going to be boiled to death, and it will be too late. So wake
You
up,
are not wrong. You are not wrong, Barn.
wake up, and
like we
let's
say,
push back.
question everything, gang. Check us out, rudebarn.etsy.com. Go grab some merch. We'll have some new stuff up there now. We're having some fun with this stuff. So, help us out on the channel.
Yeah. And
We're
thank you so
trying to
much for
expand
joining
more,
us.
bro.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. Please share this, like it, subscribe, tell all your friends. Everything you do helps grow the channel. We'd really like to grow the channel and do some more fun things with you. So we appreciate it. So thanks again for stopping by. We'll see you on the next one.
Question everything, gang.